You're listening to Deliberate Living, a podcast that inspires, empowers, and encourages listeners to live life more authentically. My name is Holly Priestley, and I'm a full-time nomad and creator who has been living in my 1997 Ford van since January 1st of 2019. I travel the United States with my dog, learning how to live with more authenticity. I explore different ways people choose to ditch the prescribed life we've all been sold and live on their terms, finding freedom and happiness however they choose. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Deliberate Living Podcast. I am your host, Holly Priestley, and this may be the shortest episode that I will ever record. So, for those of you who like short episodes, Yahtzee, that's awesome. And for those of you who are looking for something a little bit longer, don't worry. Next week, we're getting back to our regularly scheduled programming with an interview that I'm very excited to share with you. But this week, I am not around. I'm not around this week. And I thought about going a week without posting a podcast, but I don't really want to do that because I kind of have this internal commitment where I want to post a podcast every single week. And if I skip a week, that's not posting every single week, now is it? So I think this is going to be episode 79, and it's going to be published officially on September 7th, 2021. And it's going to be a shorty because September 7th is my birthday. And I am not around. I'm in the woods. I'm backpacking. I don't have any cell service. I don't have any internet. And just going to keep it quick and easy for you this week because of that. And I didn't want to post an interview this week or anything that featured anybody else because I know I'm not going to be around and I'm not going to be able to promote it and do my usual shebang. So this week we have a basic little short episode where I express all of my appreciation for you. And I'm going to give you 2 little things that you can do for me if you want to do something for my birthday or for my 79th episode or whatever it is. So that's what we're talking about today in this shorty. So like I said, this week I am out on a trip. I'm out backpacking with some of my favorite human beings on the planet. My dad, my younger brother, my sister-in-law, and a few of our dogs. Every Labor Day-ish, except for like last year and maybe a few other years, we go on a 4, 5, 6 day long backpacking trip together. It's kind of the only quote-unquote family tradition that we have. And it very often overlaps with my birthday, which is excellent because I really enjoy spending time in the woods, and I really enjoy spending my birthday, my new world, my new life, my new year, like waking up in a tent and hiking on beautiful trails and, just being in the woods with some of my favorite human beings. And so that was pretty magical. And that's what I'm doing this week. And if you haven't had the opportunity to do that, to wake up in a tent, especially on your birthday, I recommend you definitely give that a shot sometime in the next, year, whenever your birthday happens to fall. It's pretty special. So if you want to help me celebrate my birthday, celebrate the podcast, like I said, I've got 2 things for you. The first thing is that this is so far an audience-supported podcast. I don't have any annoying ad breaks right now. I may partner with some sponsors in the future if I can find a brand and a program that aligns with my goals for this show for Deliberate Living and also for my life as I live deliberately. And right now, and as of the last 79 weeks, this is a wholly audience-supported show. And that means that is all you guys, and I am so, so grateful for each and every one of you. And because it's an audience-supported show, there are a ton of ways to support it. The 2 main breakdowns of how you can support the show, with funds or without funds. I don't care. Either one. They're both fantastic. So, if you have funds, you can help offset some of the costs that go into producing the show each and every week. And yes, this is a labor of love, and yes, there are costs that go into producing the show. I do every single thing by myself. I arrange the interviews, I pick the topics that I deep dive into, I do the recording, I do the editing, I write the corresponding articles. If you didn't know, the podcast is in audio, video, and written format every week, and the written format is its own standalone article, not a transcript, nothing boring like that. So I make the videos, I do the editing, I do the exporting, the uploading, the scheduling, all the SEOing, all the promoting, and all of that nonsense. And so This takes anywhere from 6 to 12 hours a week, like, to produce each show. And even at minimum wage, that's about $88 to $177 each week based on Colorado's minimum wage, which is where I've been the majority of the summer. So that is one of the costs that goes into producing the show. The podcast syndication service that I use to make sure that the audio version is hosted each week and available on all possible platforms for podcasting costs me between $12 and $16 a month. The artwork for the show had an upfront cost. I am not a graphic designer, and you better believe that I hired that shit out. And so every week there are costs associated with the show. And so if you have the funds and you believe that, you believe in the premise of my show and perhaps have benefited from an episode or a few, I would be so, so grateful if you'd throw a few bucks towards my Venmo or my PayPal, or even become a Patreon and, get a little behind the scenes backstage action and maybe even some snail mail in your mailbox. And if you don't have funds, that is also okay. I am not just here for the people who are paying me, obviously, because no one is paying me. I'm here because I think that all of these topics and stories need to be shared. So if you don't have the funds, but you still really enjoy the show, benefit from the show, have learned something from the show, there are a ton of ways you can help spread the word and get us in front of more audience members. Algorithms everywhere. Doesn't matter where. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, podcasting platforms, the Google, it doesn't friggin' matter. Algorithms everywhere love engagement and interaction and reviews. For free, you can support the show by liking, subscribing, rating, commenting on, and sharing the episodes and anything that I post about the episodes. You can send specific episodes to people in your life who need to hear them. You can share them on your feeds, on your own social feeds. You can help be my advocates and evangelists so that the show can continue, so that I can keep bringing you excellent interviews. I have a whole bunch lined up I'm really excited about, and just keep us going. You don't have to spend any money in any way to support the show, the channel, my work, my life. You can do it all for free with a few taps of your thumbs. So easy, so simple, would take you way less time than it's taking me to tell you to do it. And, side note, both of these ways of supporting me, the funding and the not funding, can be recycled into supporting other podcasts, people, artists, channels, creators, brands, etc. that you like in the world. So please go spread that good shit around, share the bounty. And the second thing y'all can do for me on this wonderful 32nd birthday of mine is to be good to each other and be good to our public lands. If y'all could just be a little bit extra nice to each other and our planet today and maybe for the rest of the week, that would be awesome. We have had a hell of a couple of years. Remember when we just thought that the Cheeto in Chief was the worst thing around, and then we had a pandemic and that was the worst thing around, and it seems like every month or two or every week or every day something pops up that is even more debilitating than the last. So if y'all could just be a little nicer to each other and to the planet today, that would really make my 32nd birthday awesome. You smile at somebody, ask the cashier how their day is going, buy someone a coffee like your friend or like the person behind you in line. Just like spread some good vibes around, spread some love around. You could pick up a piece of trash or 5, take a whole bag with you the next time you walk the dog or go for a hike. You can donate to your local outdoors programs or to public lands as a whole through a bunch of different organizations. I can share some of those if you need. Just send me a message, let me know. You can volunteer at your local animal shelter or your library or your homeless shelter or whatever. It doesn't matter. There's so many ways you can benefit the other human beings and the planet around you. Just be good to others and be good to yourself. Be good to the planet. She's our home. She's hurting. We're hurting. Everybody's hurting. So if we could just be a little bit more open and a little bit more loving with each other, that would be awesome. And yeah, that's it. Those are the 2 things. Those are the only 2 things that I want for my birthday, for the 79th episode of Deliberate Living. I'll be back in the world of service later this week / weekend, so it might take me a little bit to get back to y'all, but I hope that I get to see a ton of pictures or videos of you all making each other and the world a happier place this week. Send them to me, put them in my DMs, tag me in them, whatever, just like let me see that y'all are doing good things. And we'll be back next week with an awesome interview. Like I said, I'm really excited about this one. Next week's interview is with Dave Ramsey of Dave and Matt Vans. the other week I had Matt Felser on of Dave and Matt Vans. So this is the other half of that duo, and I really enjoyed talking with him. So if you haven't already, do the subscribing, get the notifications, come listen, watch, and read about his van story next week. And again, thank you all so much, and happy birthday to me, and have a good day. Bye. We've reached the end of this episode of Deliberate Living. You can find the show notes and everything we referenced over on my website at www.hollycpriestley.com, and be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts or on YouTube, where I also publish weekly vlogs and other informative videos. You can come join my Patreon community and get behind the scenes and bonus content, as well as postcards, stickers, and whatever else I choose to create. I'll see you next week on Deliberate Living, and until next time, keep your life on the